Welcome back to Vintage Vinyl here at CourierJournal.com. This is Tom Heiser. I'm Jeffrey Lee Puckett, music writer for the Courier Journal.
We're back. This is our chance to get with you and talk about lists. Classic rock and roll, the music you love, the music we love, the music we debate about on a constant basis. So we're going to kick it off with another giant. The Who, or should I say the Who, and maybe I'll do this show in my best West London accent. What do you think, that JLB?
I would say please don't.
Okay, well, I thought we were leading in.
Well, this might be my favorite band. On certain nights, this is my favorite band, and I don't want you to screw over my favorite band.
Hey, well, let's get right into it.
All right, these are our top 10 favorite Who songs. Not necessarily the best Who songs.
Desert Island Who.
Purely subjective, purely subjective.
I'm going to kick it off at number 10 with Squeeze Box. I know there are going to be a lot of people, a lot of...
Yeah, this show is over.
No, a lot of you purists aren't going to like it, but it's their attempt at country, and I've always been a big fan of that song.
I think it's a cute song.
Cute. It's better than cute.
My number 10, oddly enough, this is interesting, it's from the same album. It's the first track from Who by Numbers, Slip Kid. Slip Kid, I think, is up there with one of their most underrated songs. It's really powerful. It's got some political stuff in it, and it's just got this awesome grinding beat.
That's a good choice. And number 9, I'm going to go with Won't Get Fooled Again. The party on the left is now the party on the right. It is anthemic Who.
It is. It is.
But yeah, it's low at number 9, but still, that just shows how tough a choice this has been.
It's lower at number 14, which is where it was on my list, but this is not the top 14.
Well, okay, everything I do is cute, but okay, let's.
All right, my number 9 is Behind Blue Eyes from Who's
at
Next.
At 9. Okay,
yes.
So you have consigned Behind Blue Eyes to number 9. All right.
All right. Well, this is tough.
It is tough.
This is a tough gig.
All right. Well, I'm going to go at number 8 with Young Man Blues, which I think is very hard. You know, got that Zeppelin, feel to it for me, and plus it's a shout out to one of my favorite Who albums, Live at Leeds.
So this is the live version.
This is the live version for
right.
sure. I love that.
I don't even know if they had a studio version.
Not that I remember.
My number 8 is from my favorite Who album of all time, my second favorite album, period, of all time, Quadrophenia, 515.
That is way too low, JLP. Way too low for a great song. Off, again, your favorite album.
Well, I had to make room for 6 Quadrophenia songs.
Well, you should be happy then, because at number 7, I'm going with Punk and the Godfather.
Nice. I love that song.
Great. Just fantastic tune. And again, I knew you were going to love this, but yes, off Quadrophenia, that's got to be, it's got to be in the top 3.
Yeah. Number 7 for me is probably the outlier, the wild card, Blue, Red, and Gray.
That is an outlier.
Blue, Red, and Gray is a song from the Who by Numbers, which is my second favorite Who album. It's a solo Pete. He's only on ukulele. It's just a sweet song. It's the only positive song, really, other than Squeezebox on the album. Okay. It's a pretty dark album.
Well, we like dark.
Yeah.
We like dark. Well, number 6, I'm going with Baba O'Reilly. You got to have some Teenage Wasteland. I mean, it was hard. I thought it was going to crack the top 5, but it's sitting there at number 6, strong at number 6.
It was our first ever synthesizer.
Oh, absolutely. Okay, I can do the whole thing.
Number 6 for me. This one goes out to Mother Utterback, our producer and lunch maker, is Love Reign Over Me, also from Quadrophenia.
Well, obviously you were under pressure to include that, as I was, but that's okay. That's okay. It's not going to make it there. It's hard to say, Mrs. Utterback. All right. You know what time it is.
Yes, it's time for our magic guest ball.
Pick it up, JP. Let's go.
Who is going to join us in the Vintage Vinyl basement this week?
1, 2, 3, 4.
It is Scott Carney from Wax fame.
My favorite song by The Who is Won't Get Fooled Again from the album Who's Next?
All right, thank you, Scott. That was very well done. Not as good as your appearance on American Dad as the tentacled monster, but we can't get into that right now.
No, because now it is time for the top 5. At number 5, both JLP and TEH are going with Substitute.
Yes.
The exact same, and no coordination here.
Nope.
We pick Substitute.
No collusion.
And Substitute me for him.
Substitute your lies for fact. I see right through your plastic man.
I think it's Pete's first really personal lyric because it's all about being not very self-assured.
Right.
You're just worried that everyone's better than you. And then it has that great line that just comes out of nowhere. I look all white, but my dad is black. This is in 1966. This is a line in a pop song.
That's true, but then again, that's what I love about it. Is I love that feel that what's going on in Britain at the time.
Yeah.
Well, things are changing. The videos, especially when you look back at some of the performances, whether on Shindig, Top of the Pops, it's just got that hey, things are really kind of getting crazy around here, and so
Right.
I think the Who encapsulate that as well as anybody at that time. And that's going to be a theme of this top 5. I think it's going to be kind of the early years. That's why I'm going to number 4 with The Kids Are All Right. I
love
don't
that song.
mind.
Oh, the guy's dancing with my girl.
That's fine. I know him all pretty well.
Hey, I mean that is, again, looking back at that period. I think that this sound, that is, to me, that is the Who, and that is. That's the 60s, West London at that time. So for me, it doesn't get any better than the early stuff. And I think that The Kids Are All Right, more than a few of the others, really does hit that note for me. Always has.
Also a really good documentary. If you've never seen it, got to look that up. Number 4 for me, the first punk rock song ever written, My Generation.
Johnny Lynam wrote My Generation.
No.
Oh, okay.
Think of it. I mean, this song has all the energy of punk. It has all the drive of punk. It has all the anger of punk. The lyrics are even punk. Hope I die before I get old. One of the most famous lyrics in rock and roll. It's the first punk song.
Don't you all fade away? Don't try and dig what we all
I can't disagree with you on that.
But you will.
But I'm going to disagree. I'm disagreeing. Spoiler alert, it's not on the list. It did not make Tom Heiser's top 10. I'm sorry. A lot of things. There's again, spoiler alert. There's no Tommy. Songs I love, My Generation, just didn't make the cut.
You're just burying yourself.
I'm not burying myself. Again, I like the early sound. My Generation was right there. It's right there. It's right there. But that's just not one of them.
1965. How much earlier do you want?
Well, okay, but it didn't have the same. It didn't have that same kind of poppy, kind of British, British invasion kick.
All right. What's your number 3?
Number 3, 515. Out of my brain on the train on the 515. It had the horns. It's got the horns.
Yeah.
The piano in there. It's a terrific song.
The seats are seductive. Set up and sing. Pretty girls digging. Pretty women.
Again, I figured you would be absolutely in love with it.
I am in
because
love
it's
with
part
it.
of Quadrophenia. And that scene with the kid on the train, bumping into the pillars of British society, and more angsty, I think, than Bob O'Reilly. If you want teenage wasteland, if you want teenage angst, it's not going to get any better than 515.
I have a good story about 515.
And now, story time with Jeffrey Lee Puckett.
You know that famous line, ushers are smelling eau de cologne?
Yes.
That line is based on Townsend going to see the Beatles at a theater in London.
Sweet.
And what would happen at Beatles shows, this was at the height of Beatlemania, is that the girls would get so overcome that they would urinate in their chairs. And the smell would fill the room, and it was a joke with the bands. And that's what eau de cologne.
This has been Story Time with Jeffrey Lee Puckett.
All right, number 3 for me. This is your number 6. My number 3 is Bob O'Reilly. I think it's
How did you bump that up so high?
Well, as far as their anthems go, this is my favorite Who anthem. I think it's the Teenage Wasteland line, because when you're a kid and you hear a song like that, you feel like they're talking to you. Plus, it's the first really perfect use of those sequential synthesizers. Pete was kind of the guy on the cutting edge of that. No one else was doing that. It's the first time it really worked. And it sounded like the future.
Again, I think you're taking it a little high, but I can't argue, especially with the teenage. That was probably my first Who favorite. Number 2, I'm going with Behind Blue Eyes. I know you had it down very low at number 9, and to me it's that the soft melody to start off with, and when my fist clenches.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite Who verses.
That transition. Has always been to me, when I think Who, I think that transition right there. I love that. That's to me Pete Townsend, marching around the stage, behind Roger, really cranking it up. Roger spinning the microphone. Behind Blue Eyes has always been a favorite for me.
All right, back to Quadrophenia for me. Number 2 is The Real Me.
Yes.
Technically the second song on the album, although I always tend to think of that first instrumental section. It segs right into The Real Me. Mm-hmm. And it really sets the tone for a very complicated album. It's a lot of stuff about a kid with bipolar disorder, and he has these different aspects of his personality. And this really sets Jimmy's personality perfectly, and it sets the tone of the record and also the narrative of the record in 4 minutes. Mm-hmm. It's pretty remarkable.
I really do like the song. I wouldn't have thought that would have been, especially from Quadrophenia, that wouldn't have been as high.
Well, it's also Entwistle's. Most fans think it's Entwistle's finest bass performance.
Nice choice.
Yeah.
Now it is time to go to our top Who songs. I am going with I Can't Explain. Dun, dun, I can't explain. Oh, nothing beats it for me like I Can't Explain.
I said,
really just a song about teenage love, dizzy in the head, I can't explain. Oh, I mean it's for like if you want to say love song, or at least talking about young teenagers, sort of being caught up in the hormonal experience at that time. That I think this song really talks. It talked to me. I've always been a huge fan of the song and that era.
My number 1 is the flip side of the hormonal. It's the bad side. I Can See for Miles. I Can See for Miles is a song about jealousy and paranoia. Townsend wrote it in part because Keith's girlfriend at the time, she was a really sweet girl, really cute. And Keith was going out on the road and just shagging birds, which was the vernacular at the time. But he would write her a letter every day saying, I know you're going out when I'm not there. I know you're going out on the town and I'm not with you. And he was just horrifically jealous when she was sitting at home being, a decent girlfriend. So Pete heard these stories over and over again. So then he wrote I Can See for Miles about a guy who can somehow mystically follow the tracks of his girlfriend no matter where she goes.
I can see for miles and miles and miles and miles and miles.
And fittingly, Keith's drums on that song are more like a lead instrument, because it's not a constant beat. Mm-hmm. He's just in there doing his little tom rolls. It's a really sonically great song as well as just the subject matter.
Well, I have to fall back here for a second to my number 1 and say I can't explain how you got. That's a great song. I mean, I've always liked the song, but I can't even work it into the top 10. Let alone
Yeah. Well,
there's no way. So
that's why I'm the music writer. All right, this wraps up another edition of Vintage Vinyl.
And my generation.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. Next week, we're going to get into another British band.
Oh, yeah.
Perhaps the heaviest British band of all time, I would say, and one of the most influential, Led Zeppelin.
It's going to get it's going to get heavy in here.
It will get heavy in here. Heiser, how do you not have My Generation on?
Are you still going to get on me about having My Generation on there?
It's My Generation. Tom,
oh, he's got and the Who, but the Who, but My Generation is not the Who. Sorry, it
defines the Who.
It's not going to make the list.
It defines the Who, Heiser.
La 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 la. I'm sorry, it's not going to make the list. Oh no. Wait a minute, there's no call for this.
Are you all right, buddy?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Mom!
Yes?
Can you get the first aid kit?
Is Tom's nose bleeding again?
Yeah, he fell down.
I'll get it.
Thanks, Mrs. P. You're the best.